Hi, my name is Dr. Alexa, and I have created an amazing program called Wisdom of the Ages, the 5 Divine Archetypes. This program is like none other out there because it allows you to go into the absolute deepest aspects of unconscious self through storytelling. So when you go in through storytelling, you're going in through your imagination. And you're not going in to delve and pry and pull up all those old aspects of yourself. You're going in to create. And in story time, in our imagination, we're creating. The most amazing aspect of this program is that you're doing it with your own voice. So, what is the voice? The voice is the expression of self. The voice is words and wonders. And words are heard by all. Words are our power. They're the expression of our intellect. But most of all, who do you think's listening to us when we're speaking more than anyone else? Ourselves. And so when we feed ourselves power words, we feel powerful. And when we feed ourselves aspects of negativity and limitation and self-doubt and body shaming, we believe it. Just like we do if we were feeding ourselves positive affirmation or negative affirmation, we believe it. So in this program, we've created a way for you to go into those pieces of yourself that have caused any limitation in your life, that have limited you from experiencing what we're going to talk about next. We go into that with storytelling of our own voice, and every single cell in your body listens. And your body being 68% water, it's like a receptor. It's flowing through you and it's vibrating every single sound you make. So those cells and your conductors of water and the receptors are continuum in your emotional body. That sounds pretty exciting. Imagine if all you heard your entire life was how absolutely amazing you are, how prosperous you are, how you're going to create the most wonders in this world. Imagine if that's all you heard. That is exactly what your life would be like. It would be amazing. And you'd have absolutely zero sorrows and limitations and distractions. Absolutely zero. So this program, which we're going to go into the next piece, is designed to integrate 100% with the societies of archetypes within you. What are your archetypes? They're your personality traits. They are multi-dimensional personality traits. They didn't just start in the here and now. They started from your ancestry DNA coding, belief systems carried on from generation to generation to generation. Imagine from the very first ancestor you had and what they believed and what their environment was like, carried on to the next and on to the next and on to the next, and boom, it's implanted in your DNA coding. Next, environment, family units, what we're taught, what we hear, how we receive information, our friends, family, schools. By the time that we are in our early 20s, we develop 103 archetype personalities. And there's been many studies done on the archetypes, many studies. The most important development happens from 1 to 8. And by the time you're 8 years old, and solidified how you're going to operate throughout life. And then add all those other personalities. And that is are societies of archetypes. And in those societies, there are amazing archetypes that are successful. And then there are those that are very limiting. There are those that feel abandoned and feel betrayed. And there are those that love chaos. And then there are those that absolutely want to create most amazing beautifuls and butterflies. There are those that want to be the most successful in careers. There are those that are completely driven. They are every aspect of our nature, of our personality. So, now, we have the human ego. And the human ego has gotten a very bad rap. Very bad rap. Because the human ego is just an operating system. It is a system that needs a driver. And it was designed in the male aspect of human consciousness to be successful. So you put a successful driver in that ego, and that's exactly what you're going to achieve. Great success. But you put a limited driver in that ego, and it's going to crash. It might even not put gas in the car. It might just sit there. It might sit there for years. But let's think about societies of our archetypes getting into the ego and driving it around. Maybe one day, the success is in there. The achiever, the go-getter. But then the next day, maybe the one that's feeling sad and sorrowful is driving the car. So, now, let's go to the next step. Imagine if you could go into that aspect of where that archetype resides. Go into that place where the archetype is living in its belief system and give it something to nurture it, to love it, to honor it, to acknowledge it. Imagine an inner child archetype of abandonment who maybe was abandoned in its very early years in the human existence. And every time someone leaves your life, you suffer. Imagine if you could take a story so honoring of whom you are, with a character so divine, and parent that child. Imagine how fast that child would grow up and what that child would receive. And if it went from feeling abandoned, it could feel fulfilled and nurtured and loved. And that is what this program does. This program takes absolutely every single limitation that we have experienced through our DNA coding and our environment, and it story tells to a place of healing. And it does it through this 10 weeks. Imagine you can have your greatest life, your brightest life. You can be your most successful in love, in relationships, in career, in all aspects of self. And that's just touching on a few things that we truly want and desire. It is our divine right on this planet to be healthy, to be happy, to be wealthy, to be in love, to be fulfilled within ourselves. The great self-love brings abundance to all love, and it is our divine right. We have been given that divine coding through our spirit, and understanding our spirit allows us to truly understand the light. Now, people say, what does spirit have to do with this program? Because we're dealing with the depth of the human psyche with the societies of archetypes. This is a channel program. I asked myself 100% one day, if I ask myself all the right questions and I receive all the right answers and things aren't changing in my life, why? And that's when I channeled in this program, the 5 Divine Archetypes. We start out with understanding that the original wound of all of us is the Divine Father. Why? Because we were spirit in our truth, and we entered the human consciousness and we feel separated. The Divine Mother, we feel sometimes that we don't have the greatest nurturing around us. And that can stem back generations. And I'm being very vague because I've gone into other videos of what each of these divine archetypes brings. But we have the Divine Warrior, always setting great boundaries, teaching us light within darkness in all situations. We have the Grand Observer, teaching us to step out of chaos and understanding how to set a path past drama, trauma, chaos. Keep on going. Be successful. Be bright. We have the Divine Grandparents, the nurturers that teach us the aspect of balance between male and female and why we need that balance. With all of that said, as you use your own voice and you go into these scripts, these spiritual scripting, through meditation, through walking, listening to it when you're driving your car, these stories go deep into these societies of archetypes and nurture and heal them. And you emerge with the brightest gifts of understanding. You emerge how we create so much of our own story. And if we can create our story either way, why don't we just create it to be the greatest? That is exactly what we are learning here. This is a channeled program. It is channeled from, I believe, the greatest aspect of God. And we'll call that the Akash. That place where it's deep, deep wisdom. And regardless how it came in, this program came in to be magnificent for all of us. To be enlightening. And more than that, to give us the greatest healing without having to go into that brain loop that we remember and we process and we process. And we have to keep delving into the past. We don't need to go into the past any longer to heal the present. We need to be in the present to create the great future. We can honor our past, but we don't need to live in it any longer. What we need to be living is our brightest, greatest future. And how do we do that? We heal in our present. And this program will give us all just that. And your results will be outstanding, amazing. Just trust. Thank you. Love and light.